Welcome to another edition of Rust Rant, where I come on and I go off about, well, whatever is haunting me off today. So today, yes, ladies and gentlemen, today, once again, we have to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers. I know, they're not in the playoffs this year. Their season ended less than a month ago, but still, somehow they keep making the news. And this time, it's about whether or not LeBron James actually has sway over the higher-ups on the Lakers. And this is from the website Lakers Daily. They talked with Jeannie Buss, the team owner, about the notion that LeBron James and Clutch Sports, the agency he's with, that they kind of run the show with the Lakers. Well, this is what Jeannie Buss said. Quote, "Do they have final say? No. Are they running the team? No, not at all. I am controlling owner of the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm held accountable for every decision that's made here." End quote. Now, Lakers Daily does go on to say that James is obviously a key part of the Lakers' plans on and off the floor, but he does not overrule Buss in the franchise's hierarchy. However, and I stated this on a previous Rust Rants, there have been reports that many in the Lakers front office are saying the opposite, that LeBron James and Clutch Sports have way too much say in personnel matters for the Lakers. And of course, we know that the Lakers struggled this past season, and now the blame is on so many people. In fact, one of the biggest pieces of blame toward James is how he lobbied to have Russell Westbrook join the Lakers. And of course, we all know how that worked out. Russell Westbrook, it seemed he spent more time worrying about people calling him Russell Westbrook than, I don't know, maybe say practicing more, trying to improve his talents more, so that way when he goes out on the floor, he makes more shots than he winds up missing, which seemed to be the case this year for Westbrook. Now, Lakers Daily does say James is still on top of his game, and the Lakers would be wise to continue to build around him next season, even though next season LeBron James will be 38 years old, which among NBA players, that's ancient. In fact, a lot of NBA players, they're done playing at the age of 38. They also point out, Lakers Daily does, that during this past season, James averaged 30 points per game, 8.2 rebounds per game, 6.2 assists per game, though you have to factor in that James missed about 20 games this season due to injury, and he also missed the end of several games because the Lakers were getting blown out, and James decided to stomp off to the locker room like a 6-year-old throwing a tantrum because things weren't going his way, and well, that's how LeBron James handles it. Now, one guy who thinks it's time to part ways with LeBron James, according to some reports, is none other than 11-time NBA championship coach Phil Jackson, who's working as a consultant with the Lakers. And LA Times columnist Bill Plaschke reports that he has heard talk that Jackson wants to have LeBron James traded. He says he can't confirm that, he can't back it up, but the talk is Jackson wants James traded and he wants to keep Russell Westbrook. Why he'd want to keep Russell Westbrook, I don't know, after the season that guy had. However, Jeannie Buss says that she still thinks the Lakers can win with James and the team they have around him, even though what we saw last year completely contradicts that line of thinking. Here's the thing. The Lakers have one of the oldest rosters in the NBA. Most of those players are past their prime. You have Anthony Davis, who hasn't hit 30 years of age yet, but he spent most of this season sitting on the bench with one injury after another. There's locker room turmoil. There's turmoil in the front office. Honestly, with all of that poison in the locker room, in the front office, in this entire organization, I can't see how the Lakers are going to win a championship with that kind of formula. So, as far as Phil Jackson's thing goes of trading LeBron, I think that might actually be a good idea. However, if they're going to pull the trigger, they got to do it right now. As I said, LeBron James, yeah, he put up some pretty good numbers this year, but again, he's going to be 38 next season. He only has maybe 1 or 2 more good years left in him. And I'm sure there are teams out there in the NBA who would not mind having LeBron James on their roster, even though he's getting up there in age. But so long, they'd be happy to have him just for the ticket sales and merch sales that LeBron James is going to generate. And I'm sure they'd be willing to give up a lot of young talent to get James, even if it's just for a year or two, just so they can say, we have LeBron James on our roster. And maybe the Lakers are worried about life after LeBron. They don't want to part ways with LeBron. Well, you know what? You're the Los Angeles Lakers. You survived Kareem, Magic, and Kobe hanging it up when it was time for them to hang up. You went on without them. You had success without them. So you know what? The day's going to come when you don't have LeBron James anymore, and you're just going to have to deal with it like you dealt with it when you didn't have Kareem and Magic and Kobe anymore. Well, hey, folks, time for a word from our sponsor. Does your toilet have rings that always need cleaning? Do you have hard water spots on your shower doors, calcium buildup on your faucets? Just imagine what all of that is doing to the inside of your washing machine, dishwasher, refrigerator, your hot water heater. What about the pipes inside your body? Buy a filter or be a filter. You can have clean, mineral-rich water without the buildup of unwanted toxins in your body and throughout your whole home. Call Vicki Johnston today at H2O Health and Water Solutions at 928-899-7504 or stop in and see her at the Gateway Mall. Folks, that's going to do it for this edition of Rust Rants. Be sure to follow KYCA on all our social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Vimeo, and check out our website, kyca.info. Till next time, folks, have a good one.